This is Titans football with head coach Nick Hart on 89.1 The Bash. Our weekly chat with the Gibson Southern Titan head football coach is brought to you by these underwriting sponsors: A&B Contracting, A&T Concrete Supply, AgriGold, Best One Tire, Gerald and Trudy Bledsoe, Cart's Gone Wild, Consolidated Grain and Barge, Cox Family Eye Care, Deaconess Women's Hospital, DuBois County Garage Doors Incorporated, Freudenberg Mini Mart, Hobstadt Summerfest Incorporated, in memory of Darwin and Eric Kalis, Jackson Seed Service, JL Farm Equipment, Kiesel Enterprises, Kissel Farms, Lewis Plumbing and Heating, Lowry Company, Marshall Disposal, Mayflower Gardens and Gifts, Mytech Systems, Pole Concrete Construction, Princeton Auto Park, Reinbrecht Homes, Rusty Reeves FC Tucker MG Realtors, Sandy's Pizza, Shoe Carnival, South Gibson Grain, T. Konya Distributing, 10 Barge Seed and Turfgrass Supplies, Total Seed Solutions, United Fidelity Bank, Vertical Tile, and by Ziliak Enterprises. Titans football with head coach Nick Hart starts now on 89.1 The Bash.
Welcome to Titans football with head coach Nick Hart. I am Bob Bowser, and joining me is head coach Nick Hart. And coach, your Titans are now 2-0 overall and in Pocket Athletic Conference play after defeating South Spencer this past Friday night. So let's take a look at the scoring plays and some of the team and individual stats from the ball game. In the first quarter, the only score of the first quarter, Isaac Sellers completed a pass to Nick Maurer for 56 yards. The extra point was no good. Titans on top, 6-0. Then in the second quarter, Chandler McKee runs it in from 11 yards out. The 2-point conversion is no good. Titans on top, 12-0. Following that up in the second quarter, Isaac Sellers runs it in from 17 yards out. The point after kick is no good. Titans on top, 18-0. Still in the second quarter, Dylan Stefanich ran it in from 5 yards out. The point after kick by Chandler McKee is good. Titans on top, 25-0. And then the final score of the second quarter, Isaac Sellers completed a pass to Wes Obermeyer for 3 yards. The point after kick failed, and the Titans at halftime led 31-0. Then in the third quarter, South Spencer received the ball first. They punched it into the end zone on a 1-yard touchdown run by the quarterback, Yannick Gruner. The point after kick was good. 31-7, Titans on top. Then the Titans come right back. Dylan Stefanich ran it in from 1 yard out. The point after kick by Chandler McKee is good. Titans on top, 38-7. Then the Titans add one more score in the third quarter here. Isaac Sellers completed a pass to Dawson Witt for 58 yards. The point after kick by McKee is good. 45-7, Titans lead South Spencer after 3 quarters of play. And then in the fourth quarter, the Titans get a 25-yard field goal out of Chandler McKee. It's good, splits the uprights. 48-7, Titans on top. And then South Spencer scored the final tally of the night. Landon Bartlett ran it in from 73 yards out. The point after kick was good, and that gives us the final score. The Gibson Southern Titans 48, the South Spencer Rebels 14, and a great first half for the Titans.
It really was, and we had talked last week on the coaches show, that they're 11. We think are as good as anybody around. Unfortunately, most of them play both ways, and we knew it was going to be a fight early, and was going to be some tough sledding, and we fought through that, and I thought especially offensively we played really, really well, and and then we're able to. You could just kind of see when they started running out of some gas there in the. Even late first quarter, we were kind of putting that drive together. Late first quarter and into the second quarter, they started running out of some gas, and we were able to keep our foot on the gas and really extend the lead.
All right, so let's take a look at some of the team stats from this ball game. Total offense, 556 yards for the Gibson Southern Titans. South Spencer had 338, and that's a number that really with the score would kind of surprise someone, other than the fact that really, and we talked about this Friday night on air, the defense had employed more of a bend but don't break, and that was very very easy to see here with the 338 yards that were tallied by the Rebels.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of things we can do a lot better defensively. I thought we did a good job of keeping them out of the end zone, but there's a lot of things we can improve at. And that stat's probably a little skewed because they put up some, there at the end of the game when our starters were out. But, still there's a lot of things that we'll learn from film that we can improve on defensively moving forward.
But it was an outstanding test. South Spencer come in there, and you had mentioned, they've got a good ball club, and they do. And as their legs get under them and this heat and humidity start to go away, they're going to be something to reckon with in the second half of the season.
They really are. They have a lot of weapons, and I think they're pretty good up front offensively. So, they're going to put up a lot of points and a lot of yards as the season goes on.
All right, so passing yards for the Titans, 246, 126 yards for South Spencer. Rushing was 310 yards. You notice I kind of stuttered on that a second. 310 yards, that's a lot. And 212 for South Spencer. And then penalties, 8 penalties for 75 yards for the Titans, 9 penalties for 62 yards for South Spencer. Here's the biggest key of the night, though. Again, 0 turnovers for the Titans, 2 turnovers for South Spencer's. They did have a fumble and an interception, and that's big right there because one of those turnovers really changed the momentum of the ball game.
Yeah, especially, I think that the interception, was 31-7, 38-7. We had pulled away, but it wasn't over yet, and we got the interception. Then on the next plays when we had the big touchdown pass to Dawson Witt, and it was kind of the nail in the coffin. Very proud of the way, we've taken care of the football here in the first 2 games.
All right, so let's take a look now at some of the individual statistics here, passing-wise. Isaac Sellers, 10 for 15, 246 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's an incredible night again.
It really is. And
Now, let me interrupt you a second. That's not the Nintendo-esque that his brother was throwing up last year, but pretty stinking close.
It's really good. 24 yards of completion and, 10 of 15 we'll take every day, and especially because there weren't a ton of gimmies. They were playing man, so a lot of the throws were downfield. Hence why 10 completions for 246. But 3 touchdowns, no picks. Obviously very good, and even had a couple of touchdowns that were called back. So very, very good night for Isaac again. And I know you're getting ready to go into it, but he ran the ball very well too.
Well, speaking of Isaac on running the football, looking at the rushing stats here for the Gibson Southern Titans, Isaac Sellers had 10 carries for 146 yards and a touchdown. Dylan Stefanich had 19 carries for 78 yards and 2 touchdowns. Chandler McKee had 5 carries for 38 yards and a touchdown, and a lot of the B button in there with the spin. Mitchell Spindler, the freshman, comes in, looked good in that series where he got some carries. 5 carries for 33 yards. Seth DeLong had 2 carries for 17 yards. Ben Butler had 5 carries for 2 yards, and Lucas Ploss had 1 carry for a -4 yards. So again, Dylan Stefanich didn't come out with the big-time yardage, yet I think the defense was keying on him after last week's performance, which led to Isaac having a big night.
They really were, and a lot of our run game is option-based out of the shotgun, and so, it's a little bit of pick your poison. You're going to play the quarterback or the running back, and they chose to play the running back, and that opened Isaac up for some big runs. And, I thought our offensive line did a great job of getting a push the entire night. They have some big boys in there. I mean, even their linebackers were big, and I thought we got a terrific push the entire night. So really proud of the way our offensive line played. And you mentioned it, Dylan started cramping a little bit there in the third quarter, and freshman Mitchell Spindler came in. I thought he ran the ball really, really well. And so, I think we're going to keep kind of increasing his load a little bit to keep Dylan fresh, as we start to move through the season and Mitchell gets a little bit more varsity experience.
All right, taking a look at the receiving on Friday night, Dawson Witt had 2 receptions for 61 yards and a touchdown. Nick Maurer had 2 receptions for 77 yards and a touchdown. Dylan Stefanich had 1 reception for 54 yards, and I really, really thought he was going to get in the end zone there, and it's just like, boy, he hit the freight train right smack head on at about the 3-yard line. But Chandler McKee had 4 receptions for 51 yards, and Wes Obermeyer had 1 reception for 3 yards and a touchdown. So again, 5 guys receiving the ball, 6 or 7 guys carrying the football. Lot of reps for a lot of people should keep a lot of the players happy.
Yeah, and and keep them fresh, and that's what we want. We like spreading the football around, and letting different guys do their thing with it. And again, it goes when you have 556 yards or whatever you said we had 5 something. That goes back to your offensive line. Being able to get movement in the run game and protecting the passing game, and then that really makes everybody else's job really easy.
Well, and 556 yards is what the official stats show, and man, that's a lot of yardage. That means you're moving up and down the field, doing whatever you need to do, running or throwing the football, which is a positive.
I think what's really impressive is, most of that was done in 3 quarters because, when they left, their starters were still in when our JV came in, and we didn't move the ball a whole lot. So, we picked up some here and there, but, a lot of that yardage was really picked up in 3 quarters, which is really impressive.
All right, then let's go to the defensive side. Caleb Carpenter with a big night on the defensive side. He had 6 solo tackles, 5 assists, and 1 big-time interception. Andrew Smith had 6 solo and 1 assist. Trace Matzel had 5 solo and 3 assists. Caleb Stiesel had 4 solo and 4 assists and 1 sack. Cooper Willis had 4 solo, 2 assists, and a tackle for loss. Luke Miller had 3 solo and 4 assists. So right there's 6 guys we just listed off on this lengthy list of people that at least got a tackle or a solo or an assist. So a lot of hats to the football. But boy, the night really stands out for Caleb Carpenter.
Caleb had a great night, and we ask a lot of our safeties, and they have to be a really special player, and Caleb is. Because you have to obviously cover the pass, but in certain schemes you get involved in the run game as well. And South Spencer's running outside a lot, which gets filtered to our safeties a lot. And he came up and made a lot of big tackles for us, where he was really the last dude left. So Caleb played phenomenal. Minus 1 busted coverage that he had, but and those are the type of things when you look at our defense that we've got to, because he played phenomenal. He would have graded out, A+, you take away that 1 play. But, if 11 guys have that 1 play, you're leaving yourself open for 11 big plays. And that's really where we've got to get defensively right now is that, I think as a whole we play well, but there's a lot of schematic or technical things that we've really got to, get a lot better at it as we move forward, so we're not making, those type of mistakes. And but I think the one thing that's saving us defensively right now is we get to the football, and there's a lot of hats coming. So even if we get an end up field too far on a trap or something, and it opens up, or we miss a tackle, there's a lot of guys coming to the football, and I think that's the reason why right now, even though we're not playing as well defensively as we'd like as a coaching staff, technically and schematically. We're still putting up pretty good results points-wise is because our effort's phenomenal and we're getting to the football.
All right, so let's take a quick break here, and when we come back, we will get your overall thoughts from Game 2 concerning the offense, defense, and special teams. But right now, we need to thank some of the underwriters of Titans football with head coach Nick Hart right here on 89.1 The Bash.
You're listening to Titans football with head coach Nick Hart on 89.1 The Bash. Tonight's show is brought to you by the following underwriting sponsors: A&B Contracting, Best One Tire, Gerald and Trudy Bledsoe, Cox Family Eye Care, Freudenberg Mini Mart, Jackson Seed Service, Kissel Farms, Marshall Disposal, Pole Concrete Construction, Sandy's Pizza, T. Konya Distributing, United Fidelity Bank, and by Vertical Tile. You love sports. You're your team's ultimate fan. Why not turn that passion into the ultimate career? Enroll now in the brand new Sports Marketing and Media program at Wabash Valley College. Learn how to use digital video and other media to add to the fan experience, how to engage fans on social media, and how to create excitement by hosting events and promotions. Get off the sidelines and into the game. Find out more about the WVC Sports Marketing and Media program online at www.iecc.edu or by phone at 618-262-8641.
Thank you for tuning in to 89.1 The Bash for Titans football with head coach Nick Hart. All right, Coach, let's start with your thoughts here on the offense from week number 2 against South Spencer. So the South Spencer comes out, and I mean, they've got a couple running backs, as you had mentioned, very good running backs. They got a big offensive line. Both quarterbacks could throw the ball nice, tight spirals when they got a chance to throw them.
Yeah, we really did. And, and like we talked about defensively, there's a lot of things that we've got to improve on with our team defense. But, we always preach the two things you can't coach are attitude and effort. And I think those are two things that our defense is doing a great job of right now. We have tremendous effort. We're getting to the football. But, it's a lot of the technical and schematical stuff that we've just got to get a lot better at defensively in order for us to, get eventually where we want to be on that side of the ball.
Well, and right now, going to the offensive side of the football, you're still opening up holes that are just gaping holes, and you gotta like what you're seeing there from your offensive line. They're coming together as a unit really, really quick. But on top of that, they're blocking real well, and Isaac's putting the ball on the numbers, and the receivers are catching it.
He really is, and especially in our passing game, I was very pleased. On film, all they had run was cover 3, so we worked on all of our cover 3, our zone beaters all week. They come out and play man-to-man the entire game. So a lot of the stuff we ran, we hadn't ran a lot of in practice. So it was a great job by our guys of recalling what we've done in the past and, some of the man adjustments, just because we hadn't worked it that week. So, it's one of the reasons we go play a lot of 7-on-7 in the summer is because you get a lot of reps and you're able to adjust on the fly. But, it all starts with the offensive line. I think they are playing phenomenal right now. The running game, great movement. Isaac, I'd like him to be a little cleaner in the pocket than what he was on Friday. He took a couple hits in the pocket I don't think he needs to take. So we got to improve our pass protection a little bit. But the point, he was clean enough to get the throws off. But, he did throw a few where he got popped afterwards. And, we just got to do a little bit better job of maintaining our pass pro so we can keep him clean in the pocket.
All right, so let's take a look now at the special teams. And I tell you what, the kickoff team, Chandler McKee doing the kicking, what a phenomenal job they did on Friday night, because I knew you weren't going to kick it deep. You had mentioned that right here on 89.1 with the Coaches Show. On Tuesday night, you said, we're not kicking it deep. Mm-hmm. And you didn't, true to your word. And, boy, that one just looked like a beautiful wedge shot that I would use, matter of fact, on the PGA Tour if I ever got my card. But and they ran away from it. I couldn't understand that. The ball was just popped up there for them. In fact, I thought there was a few times they helped your kickoff team out whenever they would fair catch it, and they had 10 to 15 yards of room to be able to run.
Yeah, he did a great job with that all night. And one thing we thought they might do after we kept pooching and having success was to move one of their good athletes there for the pooch. And so we were going to check off of the pooch and go to a squib when they did that. And sure enough, they come out after halftime. And the Rowan kid was there to catch the pooch. And, Chandler recognized it. He got the change. We squibbed it down the middle and, kept it away from them. But just a phenomenal job. I thought, we had a really good punt return out of Carpenter, got close to blocking the punt, and he popped a punt return. And then, our punt team, we actually, this is a good problem to have as a coach. We hadn't gotten to punt yet this year. So even when we had pulled the starters, I told Coach West, who runs our special teams, if we have to punt, I want our number one punt team to go back in so we get a live game rep at it just because that it's a great problem to have, but we haven't gotten that live rep in a game yet. So, Chandler got off a 46-yard punt. We had good protection. We had good coverage. The EP team, not our best night on that. And it wasn't just on Chandler. Chandler, pushed a couple of them, but, the snap and hold was off on the first one that got kicked into the line. So, we got to do better as that entire unit moving forward. And I think it's your fault, really, because you jinxed,
I'll take the blame.
You jinxed us last week talking about how perfect we were in that phase of the game. So I think it was, just karma coming back to bite us on your end. But, it's a unit that we have a lot of confidence in. I'm sure, we'll get it playing a lot better as we move forward. But overall, I thought our special teams were phenomenal because they are very, very dangerous in the special teams department with the guys they have that can return the ball. And I thought we did a great job of keeping it away from them and covering the guys that we did. And I think a reason they were fair catching a lot is, we got a big hit on the kid. Chandler's kicking it so high. We got a big hit on the kid right after he caught it early in the game, and I think he thought he was just going to fair catch it and save his body after that. So, and you talked about the one that was kicked perfect, and Bailey Neufelder was flying down there and was able to get on it. And he was our special teams player of the week, Bailey was, because he was the first guy down there on those pooches every single time. And, his coverage was just phenomenal all night.
Well, and you look at also some other key plays. There was one of your punt returns. You almost blocked a punt again on Friday night. I mean, that was I don't know how we didn't get it blocked, but the kid got it away. Good for them. But boy, that would have been an easy 6 points right there for the punt return team. But then also the 37-yard field goal by Chandler. I tell you what, that was a beautiful kick.
Yeah,
I think he just didn't give it enough of the angle to get there, and it went straight on him. It stayed straight instead of having a little hook to it.
Yeah, we were towards the hash there. I think if the ball had been in the center, he would have made that. And we talked about this I think on the first show. Inside 40, we feel really confident with him, and that was at 37, so felt really confident, especially. Our thought process is always going to be, that was like 4th and 9. So, we definitely feel like Chandler has a better shot at making that than we do of picking up 4th and 9 and scoring. So, if it was 4th and 2 in that deep, it might be a different story because, we always want 7 instead of 3. But, we inside 40, we feel very confident in trotting him out there. And more times than not, we're going to come away with points.
Well, and the beautiful thing about he didn't make it. We wish he would have made it. But he's getting to practice it. You're not having to wait until either the conference championship game, wherever that may fall in, or in playoffs week 1, 2, 3, when you might need it to win a game. He's getting to practice it right now in a game situation, which is better than any practice time.
Yeah, we actually, as we talk about practice, He kind of got run into on his last PAT attempt. So we had moved. We have a young soccer player named Bryce Williams. It's a sophomore that has a fantastic leg that's kicking for us, and he was actually going to take over the extra point duty so we could get him some varsity game experience. And then when we had the opportunity to kick the late field goal again, I put Chandler back in as the kicker. Just because I think it's important, like you said, to knock down a few of those field goals, whenever the conference or sectional championship isn't on the line. And, in a game. Anybody can kick him in practice, but in a game. And so, it was good to get him that kick there and let him knock down a field goal there in the fourth quarter.
All right, well, Coach, we need to thank some of the underwriters of Titans football with head coach Nick Hart. And when we come back, we will take a look around the Pocket Athletic Conference to wrap up Week 2 and get prepared for Week number 3. As you are listening to 89.1 The Bash and Titans football with head coach Nick Hart.
You're listening to Titans football with head coach Nick Hart on 89.1 The Bash. Brought to you by these underwriting sponsors: A&T Concrete Supply, Carts Gone Wild, Daylight Farm Supply, Deaconess Women's Hospital, Hobstadt Summerfest Incorporated, JL Farm Equipment, Lewis Plumbing and Heating, Mayflower Gardens and Gifts, Princeton Auto Park, Shoe Carnival, 10 Barge Seed and Turfgrass Supplies, and by Ziliak Enterprises.
Is your passion sports, healthcare, agriculture, food, people, coffee? Well, just what do all these have in common? Well, how about sales, accounting, economics, management, marketing, customer service, and a whole lot more? With such a wide range of opportunities and interests, there's a career for everyone. Real-world discussions and a relaxed atmosphere of student-instructor interaction is your path to success with the Marketing Business Management degree at Wabash Valley College. For more information, contact WVC today at 618-262-8641 or visit iecc.edu/WVC.
Welcome back to Titans football with head coach Nick Hart on 89.1 The Bash. I am Bob Bowser, and joining me is head coach of the Titans, Nick Hart. All right, Coach, let's get down to business and talk the Pocket Athletic Conference. Looking at the scores here from week number 2, Forest Park defeated Perry Central 20-2. Good for Forest Park.
Very good, especially with their young team to be able to get a win early in the season and bounce back from week 1. Coach Foos is a great guy and does a great job. So, very happy for him and his team.
Well, and then Heritage Hills defeated Mount Vernon So, again, a Pocket Athletic Conference team defeating a Big 8 team for the second week in a row, 15-6.
Yeah, that was week 1.
I'm sorry.
North Posey beat Mount Vernon this week. I think that was week 1. North Posey got Mount
North
Vernon this
Posey
week.
got Mount Vernon this week, 36-19. Reading is optional.
Well, hey, and we always like when the PAC beats the Big 8, so, we'll always announce those. But, I know we'll talk a lot about North Posey, when we move forward, but because that's who we have this week. But, they're playing really good football. They beat South Spencer week 1 and Mount Vernon this past week. They're playing really good football and at 2-0.
Well, and I just want to reiterate that score again here. North Posey defeated Mount Vernon 36-19. Of course, your Titans defeated South Spencer 48-14. Heritage Hills defeated Tell City 20-3.
Yeah, another the other game that I think that was in the conference, the only other one, and it was a tight game early, and I think the one thing that stands out is Tell City is much improved from last year, and Heritage Hills' defense is really, really good because they've given up I think 9 points in the first 2 games, and so 6 to Mount Vernon last week and 3 to Tell City this week. So they're always great on defense, and it looks like they have one of their better defenses this year.
All right, and of course Princeton, playing in their first ball game, defeated Pike Central 47-20.
Yeah, big win, and I think it says a lot about Princeton and their coaches because that's really tough when one team has a game under their belt and the other doesn't. So it says a lot about them, and unfortunately that is, but fortunately for the conference, I think this talks about how strong our conference is this year. That's the only non-conference loss our conference has on the season, and most of the teams have played one, if not both, of their non-conference games. So I think that really says a lot about our conference and the strength of it this year.
Well, and then a big score here that kind of really catches me off guard, and I'm wondering what's going on. But Southridge defeats Jasper. Now, as we mentioned last week on the Coach's Show, we thought that's a pretty good rivalry game right there. But Southridge defeated Jasper 28-21. Again, the Pocket Athletic Conference beating down the Big 8.
Yeah, it was a great win, and we talked about last week. I wouldn't have wanted to be the team that was playing Jasper in week 2 after their game against Memorial, because I know Coach Aarons. I know he was going to have those boys ready to play on Friday night. So I wouldn't have wanted to play him. So a great win by Southridge. I think watching Home Team Friday, they got a touchdown late. That allowed them to win that. So a great win for Southridge and the PAC.
All right, so let's now get ourselves ready here for week number 3 on Friday, September 2nd. All conference games this week. Heritage Hills at Pike Central, and you just mentioned it earlier, the Heritage Hills defense playing lights out so far. They haven't given up 7 points yet in the game. Yeah. 6-3 in the first 2 weeks. Pike Central had the big win in week number 1. I don't know. It's at Pike Central, so you know what? This could still be a pretty good ball game.
It could, but I think Pike Central probably have a hard time scoring with that Heritage Hills defense. But I really like these weeks. We don't have many of them. We have one of the goofiest conference schedules in the country. I think when people are in non-conference and in conference, there's very few weeks where all 8 teams. You just have those 4 conference games, and the conference everybody's playing each other in the conference. This is one of them, and I think those are really exciting because it really helps. We're starting to get to the point of the season where you can really see where everybody is in the conference, strength-wise, and when we all kind of start playing each other, it really starts to tell a lot of the story. So I think these weeks, I think, are really, really cool whenever we're all in conference.
Well, another ball game within the conference, South Spencer at Tell City. And this is one of those games. South Spencer is the only ball club right now in the conference that does not have a win. But yet, as well as they played, now granted they didn't dent the end zone much against you guys, but as well as they played up and down the field on both sides of the football, I don't know. I think I see South Spencer getting a W this week.
Yeah, and they're a team too. When you look at it, they've lost to us. It's 2-0, and North Posey, who's 2-0 as well, and I think North Posey will be one of the better teams in the conference, and so Tell City's much improved. They played Heritage Hills very, very close last week and got a big win week 1. I know South Spencer has a lot of talent because we just played them, and they'll be hungry for a win.
Well, and then Southridge is at Forest Park. Now, Southridge coming off the big victory over Jasper. Forest Park coming off getting a victory, their first victory of the season. But, boy, I just history tells me Southridge and all of the tradition of good, solid football there, it might be a rough week.
It might be, and I think one of the things as a coach, and, you always think about after you get a big win like they had against Jasper, you always worry about that hangover effect. And especially if you're playing a team that historically, that you've been better than, there's always that fear of a hangover and stuff. So, I'm sure Coach Buning will have those guys ready to play. But, as a coach, it's always the first thing you think about.
Well, of course, the only game left on the schedule would be your ball game. It's going to be North Posey coming to Gibson Southern. So right now, Coach, we have one more segment to go, which means it's time to get the listeners ready for Friday night, the home opener against North Posey. But first, let's thank some of the underwriters of Titans football with head coach Nick Hart right here on 89.1 The Bash.
You're listening to Titans football with head coach Nick Hart on 89.1 The Bash. Tonight's show is brought to you by the following underwriting sponsors: AgriGold, Consolidated Grain and Barge, DuBois County Garage Doors Incorporated, in memory of Eric and Darwin Kalis, Kiesel Enterprises, Lowry Company, MyTech Systems, Reinbrecht Homes, Rusty Rivas FC Tucker MG Realtors, South Gibson Grain, and by Total Seed Solutions. Looking for a job in agriculture? Then Wabash Valley College is the place for you. We have courses that can help prepare students for careers in farms and other ag-related occupations, including ag sales, marketing, and mid-management positions at ag suppliers. Our programs have great instructors to help you get to where you want to be. For more information, call WVC today at 618-262-8641 or visit www.iecc.edu/WVC.
Welcome back to Titans football with head coach Nick Hart right here on 89.1 The Bash. Or you may be using the free app to access the show on your cell phone. So, Coach, week number 3, it's the Vikings of North Posey on Friday at 7 p.m. at Jack Jewell Field. And we will have all the action live on 89.1 The Bash with pregame at 6:45 p.m. North Posey now comes into this contest 2-0 on the young season, and they're 19th in Class 2A Sagarin ratings, while your Titans are ranked 7th in Class 3A in those same ratings. What do you expect to see from North Posey on the offensive side of the ball?
Offensively, they do a lot of things. You'll see them in the eye, in split backs, pro style with both of those, and also out of double tight with the eye and the split backs. They'll get in the shotgun and run doubles and trips. They really do a lot of different things that you have to prepare for. They have 2 running backs. The Meyer kid, has good speed, but he's more like the downhill type of guy. And then the Stewart kid goes back and forth between receiver and running back, and he's kind of their speedster and the guy they like to get outside. And it's just typical, North Posey football. They like to run the ball, but they do mix in play action and throw it, and they're just very fundamentally sound. They do a lot of things really, really well, and they're going to be well coached and disciplined, and play football the right way, and they're just a fun team to watch on film because they do all of the little things really, really well.
All right, so let's go to the other side of the football. How do you see the Vikings trying to slow down your high-powered Titans offense?
Well, they've changed up a little bit this year on defense. They used to be strictly a 4-3 team and play cover 2 and cover 4, but they're running a 4-2-5 or a 4-4 now, whatever you want to call it, and playing a lot of man-to-man defense, a lot of loose man. They'll get up in you and play press man. And they like to blitz this year too, and so they put that Stewart kid at free safety, who has tremendous speed, and he covers a lot of ground back there at free safety. to help out some of those man-to-man matchups, and then they like to bring a lot of heat and play some games up front and try and cause some havoc. So no matter what their scheme is, ever since I've been here and coaching against these guys on defense, they're physical, they're fast, and they get to the football. And one thing when you play these guys, they're going to play as hard as they possibly can for 48 minutes.
All right, so let's go to the third and final phase, the special teams. What do you see from their kicking game, from their punt game, and from their return games?
Again, just very, very solid. Kicker is, I don't know if I've seen him miss an extra point yet. Maybe one against South Spencer, but
maybe I should say the kicker's been perfect. That'll get that. He's been perfect all year long.
There you go. The reverse psychology, I like it. But no, he does a great job. Punter, really solid, 35, 40 yards. In the kickoffs, they'll kick it to about the 10 or the 15. And then, in their return game, the Stewart kids back to return punts and kicks. And so we got to make sure that, we have, great lane integrity and get to the football with our coverage units.
All right. Well, Coach, anything else you would like to add to this week's show?
Yeah, we're really excited. This is a big game in the conference. Both teams are undefeated. Even though it's early, it's kind of got a conference championship feel when both teams are undefeated. And, with our schools being close, I think it'll be a fun crowd and a huge crowd. And our fans that haven't seen it, there's a brand new entrance to the stadium that our parent club has built with the help of a lot of people in the community and a lot of businesses in the community. And, it really just makes our stadium more our stadium, and it's beautiful. And, we really look forward to finally getting home and playing a game on Friday night.
Well, one thing that I have to say from my standpoint, we've been on the road, obviously, for 2 weeks, and both places here within the Pocket Athletic Conference, first trip for me to either one of them, the people up in the booth have been extremely nice to Jason and I. So that's something that the conference can be proud of. Not everywhere is going to be really nice to, especially the visiting radio guys, but these folks have been very nice to us in both places, whether it's at Forest Park or at South Spencer, so that says a lot. But I'm looking forward to being in our palatial home there in the new press box. That place is just fabulous.
Oh, it's awesome, and having the deck on top for our coaches and filming is, really helped us out as coaches as well. So, there's a lot of new great things going on at our place, and we're just excited to be able to play one at home on the turf and get that part of the season going.
All right, Coach. Well, that's all the time we have for today's show. Good luck Friday night. Good luck to the players on Friday night. Coach, we'll see you after the game on the post-game show. And right now, we would like to thank all of you for joining us here on 89.1 The Bash for Titans football with head coach Nick Hart. And be sure to catch us each week for your look inside the Gibson Southern Titans football team. Before we sign off, though, we would like to thank all of the underwriters of Titan football with head coach Nick Hart on 89.1 The Bash.
This has been Titans football with head coach Nick Hart on 89.1 The Bash. The show is made possible by our underwriting sponsors, Ziliak Enterprises, Vertical Tile, Total Seed Solutions, Tin Barge Seed and Turfgrass Supplies, T-Conia Distributing, United Fidelity Bank, South Gibson Grain, Shoe Carnival, Sandy's Pizza, Rusty Reeves FC Tucker MD Realtors, Reinbrecht Homes, Princeton Auto Park, Pole Concrete Construction, MyTech Systems, Mayflower Gardens and Gifts, Marshall Disposal, Lowry Company, Lewis Plumbing and Heating, Kissel Farms, Kiesel Enterprises, JL Farm Equipment, Jackson Seed Service, in memory of Darwin and Eric Kalis, Hubstadt Summerfest Incorporated, Freudenberg Mini Mart, DuBois County Garage Doors Incorporated, Deaconess Women's Hospital, Daylight Farm Supply, Cox Family Eye Care, Consolidated Grain and Barge, Carts Gone Wild, Gerald and Trudy Bledsoe, Best One Tire, AgriGold, A&T Concrete Supply, A&B Contracting, and by Wabash Valley College. Join us next week for Titans football with head coach Nick Hart right here on 89.1 The Bash.